Welcome to Simple Man Radio, January 21st, 2021. It's 1/21/21. I'm here with Chris, the entertainer. We're going to try and entertain you. What's going on, my brother?
Nothing much, man. Always excited to come on here and talk sports with you. We got some interesting stuff to talk about. Phillip Rivers, the quarterback class. Maybe jump into a little NFL playoff football, being that it's championship weekend. And obviously, we also want to touch on a little bit of your basketball team with the Nets.
Well, I like your new logo.
You like the me throwing the beer?
I like that.
Yeah, one of my actually, two of my subscribers have really been helping me out. They've been making new backgrounds for me, and another subscriber of mine who's a graphic designer reached out to me on Twitter with that. I'm like, oh, I got to get that. I got to get that on the channel some way. People get a good laugh out of that. The story behind that actually is when the Giants played the Bucks. I was obviously live streaming the game, and when the Giants went for two, and they initially called it a pass interference, and then they picked up the flag, I got so pissed that I took my headphones and I threw it, and it knocked over my beer, and there was a huge splash. The beer cracked on my floor, and everybody was dying of laughter. So I think that's why he made that as the logo. But the one thing I didn't pick up on it, that a couple of people on Twitter said, I think he did it intentionally, maybe he didn't. It looks just like the old school Giants logo with the guy throwing the football. So I thought that was cool that he kind of played on that. Maybe
I could pull it up. Yeah, I liked it a lot. Which background did you go with?
I'm going to alternate it. I know you like the taxi cab one. Some people said that was maybe too much going on at once. So I'm gonna alternate it. I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna change it up each video, but I thought they were all really good.
Yeah, here I'm gonna pull it up for the people to see. Yeah, I like this one. I mean, I'm not a big fan of change. Like, it's just not in me.
Yeah.
But I like that. See, I like that.
Yeah, man. I thought he did a good job with that. I might make T-shirts of that. I don't know.
I still have these photos in the in the carousel. We didn't have a show yesterday, by the way, because we didn't want to compete with the big news yesterday. Phillip Rivers retiring.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of the presidential stuff?
I did a little bit. I saw that your partner Justin he got killed because he went after Bruce Springsteen. You can't.
That's just one of those things you just don't do, Justin.
With the New York Giants, they're from New Jersey. You don't go after Bruce Springsteen. I get where he was going, but Bruce Springsteen's terrific.
I've never really got Springsteen. I know the hits, but I never got into Bruce Springsteen. I know some people who flat out love him. But Justin, I mean, that's just an unnecessary war going after. He texted me this morning. He's like, I lost 15 followers last night because of I went. It's like, yeah, dude.
Well, that's because he's twerking or whatever he did with the other video. What was that? What he was doing? The wobble.
Wobble.
And then he goes out and he bashes Bruce Springsteen. You can't do that, Justin.
Yeah, you can't wobble and then you gotta know your people. What kind of music are you into?
I like Bruce. I like classic rock. That's kind of my.
Me too. Seems like how old are you?
32?
35. It seems like everyone in mine and your age range just loves that classic rock.
Yeah. But if you go full wobble, you gotta still show respect.
Yeah. It's the wobble brings in the kids, but you gotta show respect to your elders a little bit too, Justin. Dude, speaking of which, I don't know if I was watching the Nets Cavs game on my laptop last night instead of TV. And so when you watch NBA League Pass through streaming, instead of going to commercial, it just shows the big board of the home team, like that. And it was so weird. It was just Cavs. There was just three guys in a room that were wearing Cavs stuff, and they were just, whenever they go to commercial, they just start dancing. Hold on, let me pull up.
I got to start watching more Nets games. I was busy last night, but I know they dropped it.
It was just these guys.
Let me take a look.
Oh God, I put my whole camera roll in there. Make sure I don't get myself in trouble. Yeah. So that was nice. Dude, right now I know we're gonna get into sports in a second. Dude, our John Boy Media is under siege. YouTube's going after all our channels.
What do you mean?
They will do a show on one of their channels called Wash and Baggage, and I guess it's an old like Jerry Springer game show. And they just watch it and react, and they like pause it and talk about it. And then I guess that show caught wind of it, and they claim they seized all of it, and now they're like trying to shut down the channels.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I think it'll get resolved. So they probably won't get back that show that they were trying to do, but overall, like
you might be free of John Boy Media real soon.
I know if they can't pay me, I mean, I love you guys, but I don't know what I'm going to do. I might have to go back to pool life.
Yeah, well, at least you always got pools in Florida, so that's always a good business.
Yeah, I always have pools to fall back on.
Do you ever get gators in those pools? You probably do. Once,
and I had my old flip phone. I had a flip phone when there was there, so I had a video on my old flip phone. I don't have it anymore. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, I guess like you walk up on a pool and they climb over fences. Like gators can climb, like really well.
They climb over fences?
Mm-hmm.
See, I golf. I haven't golfed in a bit, but I used to golf a good amount. And I was in Florida. I went golfing one time, and they were all over the golf course. They were on the golf course like squirrels in New York.
Really? I've only been golfing like 5-6 times.
Yeah, I haven't golfed in a couple of years, but I used to golf a lot. And when I went to Florida, they had gators all over the golf course.
Yeah. I've seen the videos of those dinosaur alligators on there. All right, so this is Simon Radio. My dad, when I was probably in like middle school, he got an airboat. And my dad's from Jersey. My dad's from up north, but when he moved down to Florida, he's not a redneck. He ain't country, but he likes doing redneck stuff, if you know what I mean. Like right. He loves the four-wheelers, the mud, like he's an adrenaline junkie. So he bought an airboat, and then him and my uncle, they literally caught an alligator, Steve Irwin style, like jumped off the airboat. It wasn't a baby, but it wasn't like a full grown alligator. Caught it, bring it home, put it in this big old dog cage they have. And it was my cousin's birthday, who was like 4 or 5 years, like 6, 7 years. I don't know. He was young, having a birthday party. So they bring it over to my uncle's house for the birthday party. And then they forget to put the piece of plywood and cinder block on top of the cage. So they came back 2 hours later and the alligator was gone.
My God! So wait.
That's one of my best stories, and I just burnt it out.
Wrestled an alligator.
I guess. I mean, that's what they came home with an alligator. They said they like jumped. If you just put your hands over their mouth, they have no power to open their jaw. Like you could hold their mouth closed with 2 fingers.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try that.
But they roll and stuff, so they get out of it. So it doesn't mean like you could just like pick it up with 2 fingers, but if you have control of it, you can hold their mouth closed with 2 fingers. Isn't it weird? Like their jaw is so strong closing that you could just hold their mouth closed with 2 fingers. It's so weird.
Wow.
I know. Like you can open your mouth with more strength than an alligator.
That is incredibly weird. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting to say the least.
All right. So now that we're 10 minutes into Simple Man Radio.
Yeah, we had some fun with Gator Talk.
Phillip Rivers retired, which it turns into a huge debate. I like Phillip Rivers. Like I think Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer. I think he had an awesome career. But he also benefited from playing in San Diego. And
I say it all the time. I've been saying that since 10 years. I've been talking.
If he played in New York, he would have gotten run out of New York. I mean, those teams, like.
Have you ever seen Phillip? You're a film guy. Now, I know you're more of an offensive line guy, but have you ever seen his mechanics throwing a football? Phillip Rivers looks like a shot put.
Yeah, he could sling it in his day. Like I don't want to take anything away from him. He was an awesome player. I do think he is a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer.
And like you look at their regular season stats, Rivers completes 64.9%, Eli 60. So Rivers is better, like 263 yards per game to 243 yards per game. Per season when they start, Rivers was 28 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, Eli 25 and 16. But the playoffs matter, and the fact that those Chargers teams were super teams. Yeah. Those were super teams. Those teams had the number 1 offense, the number 1 defense. Their backups would have made the playoffs on those Chargers teams. And they never did anything with it. Like, they just never did anything with it. The playoffs matter. Like, I hate when Like, here's something people say. Like, Eli had a 500 career. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Look at the playoff record. If you include the playoff record,
here's the other thing, Bobby.
He does not have a 500 career.
I was talking with my subs about this in my Discord, actually, yesterday. Everybody says, and maybe he won't get in first ballot. He probably won't. You know, it's very hard to get in first ballot. Warren Moon, first ballot Hall of Famer. What is the biggest critique on Eli Manning when it comes to the naysayers? His career record. Warren Moon's career record is 102 and 101. And if you include the playoffs, he's 3-7. So if you include the playoffs, he has a career losing record. Warren Moon's career playoff record is 3-7. Warren Moon, everybody bashes Eli Manning for leading the league in picks 3 times. Warren Moon led the league in picks 2 times. So he was a first ballot Hall of Famer. Nobody batted an eyelash. Eli Manning's won 2 Super Bowls. Why are people so against the idea of Eli Manning going in first ballot? To me, it doesn't add up. I think he's a Hall of Famer. I don't care if he gets a first ballot, 9th ballot. He's a Hall of Famer.
He's in New York. People love, like, you know, they say Knicks for clicks. It's New York for clicks. And people just don't like the Mannings. Like, they don't like the same reason they dislike Peyton. And it's like, Peyton's little brother. And the playoff record is more important than the regular season record. Like, that's why people are like, oh, well, you can't count the playoff. Like, yeah, you can. It's the most important games. Eli did not have a 500 career record. He had an above 500. You include the playoffs. The most important games, the reason you play, you say we shouldn't include those. Come on. Well, and the fact that he won 2 Super Bowls, I saw people clipping. I saw people I like were like, look at these throws by Phillip Rivers. Like, this is why he was elite. I was like, dude, these aren't even as good as the throws that Eli Manning had in the Super Bowl.
I'm going to tell you right now. Bobby. You've been to the Meadowlands, I'm assuming, before MetLife, right?
Yes. Oh, no, I hadn't, actually.
Okay. Well, you know the reputation. The windiest stadium in all of football. Phillip Rivers plays in New York. He ain't putting up those numbers. He is not putting up those numbers in New York. I'm telling you right now, Eli Manning had a stronger arm. It's why the New York Giants wanted to trade up and get him. You put Eli Manning in San Diego, he's putting up the same stats Rivers does. I firmly believe that.
Especially with all those weapons they had. I mean, their team was number 1 offense and number 1 defense, and they lost.
LaDainian Tomlinson, how many Hall of Famers? Think about this. This is another thing. Because I was looking over, because I love Eli. You know this. Terry Bradshaw, here's another one. Because people were telling me, oh, well, the only reason Eli Manning's in the Hall of Fame is because he won Super Bowls. No shit. That's most quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame. Nobody talks about Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw won 4 Super Bowls. The guy's got a career record. I think, touchdown to interception. He's 2 more touchdowns than interceptions. The guy he's not this incredible quarterback without those Super Bowls. And how many Hall of Famers did Terry Bradshaw play with? He played with like 20. Eli Manning played with 1 Hall of Famer. His name was Michael Strahan. He had no Hall of Famers on his offense. People don't take that into account. People just seem to hate Eli Manning.
My favorite thing with Eli is people they're like, well, if this. It's like, well, yeah. If my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. Like, it's of course if Eli didn't win the 2 Super Bowls, if he didn't play for as long as he did, if he didn't have the stats, he didn't have a Hall of Fame. Oh, duh. That's almost like everybody ever. If Peyton Manning didn't win 2 Super Bowls and have all those MVP years, he wouldn't be a Hall of Famer.
Kurt Warner without the Super Bowls not in the Hall of Fame.
You're telling me that the guy without his biggest accomplishments wouldn't be a Hall of Famer? Oh, what do you know?
Treatment.
The most important parts are his best case? What do you know?
and people took this the wrong way when I brought it up on Twitter yesterday. And I get it. Maybe I didn't word it properly. I brought up Dan Marino and Eli Manning. And I said, I probably should have said, whose career would you have rather had? Obviously, Dan Marino's the better quarterback. We're not debating that. Dan Marino's one of the most talented quarterbacks who ever lived. But me personally, whose career would you rather have in 50 years from now? Tell me one individual moment that people are going to remember about Dan Marino.
Beating the Bears on Monday Night Football. That's basically it.
Eli Manning, I can name you 10 because of the playoff success that he had and the Super Bowl run that he had. And at the end of the day, you play to win the game, as Herm Edwards says. Eli Manning on the biggest stage beat the greatest team in the history of football, went on the road, knocked off all those great quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre. I don't care about the stats. You don't play for the stats. At the end of the day, they're both going to Canton. And at the end of the day, if I could choose one of the careers and the accomplishments, I'm taking Eli Manning's. And that's not Dan Marino's fault. You know, we talk about how the Giants failed Eli Manning in the second half of his career. The Dolphins failed Marino over his entire career. They didn't give him a good support system, but at the end of the day, you play to win the games, and Eli Manning is responsible for probably the 2 greatest drives in the history of football, the greatest upset in the history of sports. I would take Eli Manning's career if I had a choice going in at the start of it. I would take Eli Manning's career over Dan Marino's. Dan Marino's a much better player.
That's tough because Dan Marino, if he wins one Super Bowl,
but he didn't.
We're talking about him being the best quarterback of all time, but he didn't, which is crazy. It is crazy. Like if he wins one Super Bowl, people say he's the best quarterback of all time. Like they put him over Montana.
But
they argue him with Brady.
True though? Is that true though? Because I could argue that Aaron Rodgers is just like Dan Marino. Aaron Rodgers is this amazing statistical quarterback. He's got the 2 highest QB ratings in the history of football for a single season. He's as talented as anyone I've ever seen, yet people still say Tom Brady. So would they still say that if Dan Marino had won? I don't think so. Because I think Aaron Rodgers is just as
you have a lot of people, like even now, that say Rodgers is better than Brady too, though. Like you have a lot of people
personally want to say that, but people call me crazy.
See, really? Because I'm a Brady guy. Like I can't stand Brady hate. And this year you've seen it.
I don't think it's hate. I think Brady's incredible. I think Aaron Rodgers is a more talented quarterback.
Talented, but like, I think people like, oh, well, Brady the scheme and doing this. It's like, well, the scheme changed.
If Dan Marino won one Super Bowl, would you put him above Tom Brady? Because to me, Peyton, because he's just like Aaron Rodgers. Then
I would put him over Aaron Rodgers, though.
Maybe that might be. Yeah, I mean they're both great.
So yeah, you're right. You're right. He wouldn't be the best of all time, but I would say it would probably be like, if he wins one Super Bowl, it's probably Brady, Montana, Marino.
I would agree with that.
And then I think Elway's in the top 5 too. Peyton should be up there.
I got a good one for you. I love this quarterback talk. And then we'll get
I love it too, dude. We could talk quarterbacks all day long.
I got a good one for you. If Rodgers wins this year, say he gets 2 rings, wins this year, and by doing that he knocks off Brady, and let's say he knocks off Mahomes. Hypothetical, does he pass Peyton Manning? I'm going to tell you why I think he does. They both have 2 Super Bowls, okay? They both have 2 of the greatest statistical years ever, right? Peyton did it with the Broncos 1 year with the Broncos, 1 with the Colts. Rodgers did 2 different schemes, 2011, 2020. The difference for me, Rodgers was at the top of his game for both Super Bowl titles. Peyton Manning was carried to his 2nd Super Bowl title. You go back and watch. He was the worst statistical quarterback in football that year when he won the Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos. Not to mention the playoff statistics heavily favor Aaron Rodgers. Peyton's
playoff struggles were real too. Like I know he ended up winning.
Look at the numbers.
The Super Bowl.
He 40 touchdowns, 27 picks in 27 games compared to 40 and 12 for Rodgers in 18 games.
And that was part of his issue with Peyton, is because Peyton was so pre-snap knowing where to go. And the playoffs, defenses are so much more dialed in the playoffs, and they disguise things better. And like I think people forget the human element. Like Peyton was a nutcase. He prepared like no one ever. Like he knew the game. So in the regular season, it's amazing. Like he wins, 5, 6 MVPs because of that.
Yeah.
But guess what happens in the playoffs that doesn't happen in the regular season? Linebackers are watching a little more film. Safeties are watching a little more film. Defensive so it's
also,
everyone's work ethic goes up to what the same that Peyton's is,
also,
where Peyton's just stays the same.
Also, we talk about the conditions for Phillip Rivers, and I love Peyton Manning, one of my favorite players ever. Peyton played in a dome. Playoffs, you bring in the elements.
He had some players too.
Plays Belichick. Again,
Harrison, Wayne, Edgerrin
James, great offensive line.
Clark was probably more of a Peyton creation, but still.
Yeah, Peyton Manning's incredible, but I'm taking Rodgers above him if Rodgers wins a 2nd Super Bowl.
Okay, I'll jump on that train. If Rodgers wins a 2nd, I will go Rodgers over Peyton. If he doesn't, I'll keep Peyton over him.
I would agree with that. You got to stick Peyton above him if Rodgers doesn't get a 2nd ring.
I like this. Do you think? All right, and Ben or Eli, who do you think has the better career? Because I do go Ben. I'm a Giants fan. I love Eli.
I'm going to make arguments for both.
I would rather have Eli. Like I love Eli's career. Eli is my guy. I would go to war for him. But I think from the outside looking in, I probably think most people would go Ben than Eli.
Okay, I'm going to make arguments for both. For the totality of their career, you got to go Ben. You got to. You got to go Ben for the totality of their career because Eli fell off really post 2012, 2013. And I think we know this. Well, he had good statistical years at 14 and 15 with McAdoo, but wasn't what Ben was over the second half of their career. But Would I rather have playing in New York? Look at the supporting cast that Ben had throughout the totality of his career.
Yeah.
Top 5 defense, top 5 offensive line, not to mention the rape allegations. How do you think that would have played out in New York? But I think had you put, and we'll never know this, if you put Eli in Pittsburgh, may have ended up being a better quarterback than Ben Roethlisberger. The Pittsburgh Steelers they built that team unbelievably. They kept that team afloat. They supported Ben with everything you could possibly ask for. Again, I go back to the Hall of Fame argument. How many Hall of Famers did Eli Manning play with? How many Hall of Famers did Ben Roethlisberger play with? Antonio Brown may not get in because he should be in a straitjacket, but Antonio Brown, Jerome Bettis at the beginning of his career, Troy Polamalu, Hines Ward,
James Harrison,
several offensive linemen. He had great offensive linemen. So I don't know, because Ben played in Pittsburgh, he's going to go down as the better quarterback. But I don't know. Eli might have been the better quarterback.
I agree that you can make that argument, but I think it's like their careers did play out the way they did, and I think from the outside looking in, you go Ben then Eli. Like, I agree. Like, if you change the scenarios, there's a really good chance it could be Eli then Ben. But I think you just look at it and you say Ben then Eli. But Eli's highs were better than all these guys' highs by far.
Eli at his best was better than Ben at his best.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think that does matter. Like, I really do think that does matter. And this idea that Eli was like, look at Eli in those playoff runs. He was perfect. He had one interception the first time, and it was in the Super Bowl, Steve Smith not catching the ball. And then the second one, did he have an interception in the second run?
I
think there was one.
Yeah, I think there was one.
It wasn't in the Super Bowl. Was it against the Falcons, Packers, and then the Niners? Did he throw one against the Niners?
Definitely didn't throw one against the Niners. I know that. I don't think maybe he didn't throw one in the. He might have thrown one in the Super. You know what? Now I gotta look. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm looking too.
Now I gotta look.
Let's see who could do it first. Come on. Give me playoff game logs.
Now I gotta look.
He threw one against Green Bay. So he had 9 touchdowns, 1 interception. He had one against Green Bay.
9 touchdowns, 1 interception.
So in those 2 playoff runs, he had 15 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. One of the interceptions was tipped off of Steve Smith's hands. And that's unreal playoff runs. Like, that's unreal. This idea that he was dragged there is so stupid. Those are unreal.
Well, the other thing I want to point out, and I pointed out on Twitter, it was later, I think, passed by Peyton. I think he has the second most yards ever, if you include the playoffs, for a single season. Ever in 2011. Eli Manning threw for over 6,000 yards that year, if you include the regular season and the postseason. He still, to this day, has the most passing yards in playoff history. Yet people say he was carried.
I didn't know that stat. I'm going to tweet out that stat. I'm going to steal that from you and tweet out that stat.
It's pinned. Go to my pinned tweet.
It is? Oh, damn it.
He threw for 6,100 and something stupid. It was crazy. Yards that year. He threw for over 1,000 yards in the playoffs. It's the most yards ever in the playoffs in the history of football. And he did it on the road.
Tweet.
He did it in the road. He did it in Lambeau Field. You think about the conditions, right?
Yes.
Are you kidding me? Ben Roethlisberger didn't touch that when Eli was at his best.
I love it. All right. Nets lost, and then everyone came out of the woodwork like, see. Cavs played unreal. The Nets obviously aren't great on defense, but they weren't good on defense before they traded for Harden, which is a lot of the things I've been saying. But I'm not. It's one game. I will say it. You know what? It's never been like this, because even with Jason Kidd, it wasn't like this. It is weird where the entire world, the entire nation is basically is reacting to your regular season games. You know what I'm saying? It's been a long time. It's been never for the Nets. I'm not sure how it's been for the Knicks, but it's never been like that for the Nets, where it's like, oh, we lose to the Cavs and everyone's talking about it like that. It's like, I haven't had that feeling as a Nets fan. Like, usually it's just Nets fans tweeting into the dark about how, Taurean Prince can't make a 3-pointer from the side. And now it's like everyone has an opinion now. It's really weird.
You better get used to that.
I know. I have to get used to it because after the Harden trade, I was firing back at people, and then now, like the Nets started out 10 for 10 last night, and I was like, people said this wasn't gonna work. There's no chemistry, and then they end up losing. So people are like, this aged well. I was like, you know what? Don't reply, or if you are gonna reply with a joke back. Like, don't get all like up in your feelings because someone's trash talking your net. So I am getting used to it. I'm doing my best to get used to it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's good, when you got to worry about that because that means your team is relevant. Like as a Knicks fan, we party if we win a game. So I would much rather be in your situation. But yeah, it was a surprising. I mean, you are on the road, but still a surprising loss last night. I'm looking at the box score here, though. I mean,
Jared Allen was playing great too, which kind of hurt.
The one thing you got to worry about with your team is your bench. I mean, you don't have a bench.
No,
for the most part. That's what you got to worry about going forward. But in terms of your starting lineup, I mean, nobody's touching that top three.
I like Bruce Brown, but for some reason the Nets, Steve Nash doesn't love him. And Steve Nash is still figuring this out too. Like I think Steve Nash honestly deserves the most patience. And D'Antoni obviously is there. So on the bench they've got Bruce Brown. They actually put Joe Harris on the bench, and we're starting Green and Jordan, which I thought was interesting, even though they finished with Harris and Green instead of DeAndre
I like that
Jordan.
because you need points off the bench.
Yeah. I agree too. Like when LeVert was here, I loved him in that. Like the day the Nets season ended last year, I said turn Karis LeVert into a Manu Ginobili 6-man type role.
Yeah.
So I agree. Even though Joe can create a little bit, like he's not simply a spot up 3-point shooter, but he's obviously not the creator that LeVert was. But I do like having him off the bench. In a perfect world, you'd put Kyrie as a 6-man, but you just can't do that. Like you can't put a guy like Kyrie on the bench, even if it would make sense.
The Knicks brought up that possibility to Carmelo at one point. He wasn't having it.
Oh yeah, anytime anyone's ever mentioned to Carmelo, like you ever thought about being remember when he got traded when you guys traded him to the Thunder, and they're like, "What do you think about it?" Come on. And he's like, you hear this? They want me to come off the bench. And I mean, he was pretty bad with Oklahoma City.
I think Kyrie would have the same reaction. Star players don't like to be told.
No, and I understand that. Like I would be the same way.
Yeah.
So we're at 28 minutes. We go a little longer. I have to go to the DMV today. I have to get my driver's license renewed, which always stinks.
Yeah, the DMV. Ooh, that's got to be. I would think it wouldn't be that packed with the pandemic.
Well, yeah, you have to schedule an appointment now, so I scheduled an appointment.
Okay.
What I'm mad about is the Florida license that I got when I turned. I think I got it renewed when I turned either 21 or 22. They're cool looking, and now they have new ones, and I don't like the new ones. The new
wait. I have a question. So you got to schedule an appointment at the DMV, right?
Yeah.
Why don't they always do that? Pandemic or not? Every time I go to the DMV, I got to wait 3 hours. Why don't they always have scheduled appointments? Maybe you cut the wait time down to 30 minutes instead of 3 hours.
I mean, it probably still will have a wait time. Like they said, like text the number when you get there and they'll alert you. I'm just going in. Like I'm not waiting for you to tell me to come in. I'm just walking in. I'm like, whoops, yeah. I didn't see that message. Like I'm trying to get in and out.
I do the same thing at Chili's when I go. I'll get the takeout every once in a while, and they'll tell you to text them when you get. I just walk in.
Have you notice as you get older? And here's some advice from some people who are not old, and me and Chris. Even though I turn 29 tomorrow, actually, which is I'm 1 year away from 30. Is you realize as you get older, if you just do stuff with confidence, you can kind of get away with anything. You really don't have to obey
to a certain extent.
Yeah, like you have to obey the law, but like just rules. If you just break rules with confidence, you can basically do whatever you want in this world.
I don't know about everything. If you're listening, don't walk into the mall naked. But
yeah, I obey the law, but just like the rules at a gas station.
Yeah, Yeah.
So,
show confidence. It's the same thing with women. Just show confidence.
Yeah. Confidence really is the key to life. Like you could do whatever you want as long as you have confidence. Even breaking the law, like you don't break the law, you'll get in trouble. But I knew a guy who walked into a Home Depot, picked up a generator, walked out, and he just got away with it. Because he did it confidently. He acted like he was supposed to be taking that generator.
Was that you, Bobby? Was that you, Bobby?
No, Although if there's anything I would steal, it probably would be a generator. Generators are freaking like gold mines down here.
Well, yeah, because you guys always have tropical storms and stuff.
Yeah. So, no, I have not stolen any generators. But yeah, kids, confidence. Confidence. What is your go-to Chili's order?
Ooh. I usually get it depends if I'm getting it, for multiple people or just myself. If I'm getting it for multiple people, I'll get like the meal for 2 or the meal for 3. They've got deals. And
The
I'll
2
get
for $20 thing? My parents love that.
the 2 for 20, or 2 for 25, maybe it is. I get the to go margaritas as well from time to time. But I usually go with the chicken crispers. I know that's like a kiddie meal, but I like it.
Dude, you can't go wrong with crispers.
You can't go wrong with the crispers. So I love the corn and fries there as well. So not the healthiest thing for you. They also give you that chocolate chip cookie dessert, which is probably about 1,000,000 calories. But
I haven't been there forever, but you mentioned it. Their street corn is
corn's
really
fantastic.
Good. I know. I haven't been in a while. I haven't been anywhere in a while because this freaking pandemic sucks, dude. I was going through my camera roll, and I was like, man, remember when I used to hang out with my friends all the time? Like, this sucks.
Yeah.
So what do you let's do pick of the day, because I do have to go to the DMV, which I sure will turn into a little playoff talk. We both lost on Tuesday, so I fell to 4-5. You are 1-2-1.
Ugh. I didn't even check to see if I lost. Ugh. I hate losing.
Yeah. I'll say before we get into it, I'm doubling down. I'm picking the Pelicans +7 versus the Jazz again. I know they let me down on Tuesday night. They're playing each other again on Thursday. I'm going again. What do you think about this net? Do you think the NBA, what they're doing because of the pandemic of playing these teams like back to back? Do you like that? Do you think that's something they should do going forward? It's like you play a team 2 games in a row.
Yeah, I saw that the Knicks were doing that against the Bulls, but usually it's a home and home. It's at Chicago and then at Chicago again. So you're saying post-pandemic should they do that?
Yeah.
I personally like spreading it out.
Yeah, me too.
I like spreading it out so you get an opportunity to see Chicago 2 different times throughout the year. I understand why they're doing it now, but I think I like the regular way of doing things.
Yeah, me too. Even though it's like we lost to the Cavs last night. It's like, okay, we get to run it back later this week against the Cavs.
What's the I don't have the basketball spreads in front of me. I'm gonna give you 2 picks. What's the Knicks spread tonight?
I think it's +4 versus the Warriors, right?
Okay, so they're getting 4?
Yeah, I was looking at that one because I was thinking about it.
I'm gonna take the Knicks tonight.
Okay. Yeah, you could do 2 picks since you won't be on tomorrow.
Warriors are back-to-back. They played last night. I think the Knicks are catching them on the right night, so I'll take the Knicks +4. And then for the championship games, I'm looking at the spreads here. Now KC, I don't know the deal. I'm not even going to touch that game because I don't know the deal with Mahomes yet, right?
I feel like, do you think they would hide a concussion with Mahomes? Because I think they absolutely would.
Probably, to make sure he can play. Probably
you have to. I know it sounds screwed up, but you have to.
But even if he plays, I still don't love that game at -3. I think it's gonna be a good game. Something tells me the Bucks have a very good chance to beat Green Bay, even though it's in Lambeau. Even though I'm rooting for Green Bay, I'm a big Rodgers fan. I want him to get that Super Bowl. I'm getting 3.5, according to this at least. I'll take Tampa to keep it within a field goal. So I'll take Tampa +3.5, and I'll take the Knicks +4.
I like that. So Knicks +4 and then Bucks +3.5. That's cool. So we get you on the playoff roster for the weekend. And we'll preview the playoffs a little more tomorrow. But I think I'm going Bucks this weekend. I think I was totally off the Bucks last week. I was like, the Saints beat this team twice. I know the Packers beat them, but the Packers beat them in a way where it wasn't like Brady threw like 2 picks. Like I know he threw 1 pick six, and like Brady was horrible.
I thought didn't the Bucks beat the Packers, or am I wrong?
No, the Packers beat the Bucks in Tampa.
Rodgers just played horrible in the game.
Yeah, that was the game Rodgers played bad, but like Tom Brady threw like some horrible interceptions.
Okay, yeah.
Carlton Davis had a pick 6 in that game. So yeah, I was all off the Bucks last week. Which, by the way, did you see me going? I lost my mind on Sunday night. I just turned into like an anti-Jameis guy on Sunday night, and it was probably the first time Giants fans were getting mad at me.
I was kind of trolling a little bit with the Jameis stuff on Twitter that night. obviously I didn't think that the Saints were ever going to start Jameis Winston. I was just trying to drive home the fact that Drew Brees was done and shot. But yeah, there was no way they were ever going to start him. I do think Jameis Winston still could be a good quarterback in the NFL.
I think he's still like I think he could be. But my argument is like, but he's not. Like
he's not. Yeah, no.
The argument that he is
yeah.
I hate that argument.
Yeah, no, he's not. No, he hasn't proved. He's got the tools.
Yeah,
but he hasn't proven to be.
I don't think he'd run that Saints offense well. Like I think he can run like that Saints offense is so based off of timing and stuff, and that's never been Jameis's game. In fact, I thought he was perfect for Arians, and with Arians he played bad, and that's always been my arguments. Like Arians' system, one, it works for basically every QB who's been in it. But so but I was hoping that the Saints would win. So I have and one friend in particular who's a Bucs fan, because I really wanted the Saints to beat the Bucs and then be like, dude, Jameis beat you guys. Like he threw like that would have been the ultimate. Like you guys should have never let go.
That was a great trick play.
I know. They stole it from the Bears the week before.
I know.
I like that. That's a good coaching move. Steal plays. I know this is a separate rant. But if you are a coordinator in the NFL and you're not stealing plays, like if Jason Garrett and Patrick Graham aren't going through every team's film this year and stealing stuff from them, then they're bad coordinators. Like if you are not stealing from, like I'm not saying you have to go and watch what the Texans are doing on defense, but if you're not if Patrick Graham's not going and watching what the Rams do on defense, the 49ers and seeing what they do on defense, then he's not a good coordinator. And same with Jason Garrett. If you're not watching the way the 49ers run game works and Sean McVay's passing game works, and then you're not a good coordinator. Steal plays. It's one of my biggest nitpicks. Don't this is our system. Steal stuff every week.
Yeah. I mean, and by the way, I see a bunch of people correcting you, and I thought they beat them. Yeah, the Bucs beat the Packers 38-10.
They blew them out.
Yeah. So we'll see how it plays out in the championship game. I'm rooting for the Packers. It is in Lambeau Field. That has to be factored in.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to take the. I'm definitely going to take the Bucs getting plus 3.5. I think I'm going to pick the Packers to win, but by about a field goal. But maybe that's my heart talking because I'm rooting for Rodgers. I picked the Bucs before the playoffs started. So pre-playoffs, I said Bucs Chiefs. So
yeah, I remember that.
Preseason, I said Saints Chiefs, but I changed it pre-playoffs to Bucs Chiefs because they were coming in hot. And we know as Giants fans, when the playoffs start, you want to go with the hot hand. And we'll see. I think the championship games are going to be terrific, though. I just hope Mahomes plays. I think Bills Chiefs will be a really fun and entertaining game. I don't think the Chiefs will blow them out. But I think the Chiefs will win by about. If I had to guess, I think they cover narrowly. I think it'll be within 7. But I like the Chiefs to win maybe. I don't know. If Mahomes plays, I'll say 30-24. And the Packers game, I'll go 27-24 Packers by a field goal.
I like it. So I do have to go because I have to get to the DMV. But somebody did ask. I have to address this comment.
Yeah.
Bobby, are you happy Bud Light hired Tana for the Giants Bud Light cutout commercial? What's this all about?
There's a guy that he always says looks like me on one of the Bud Light commercials.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna clip it now and be like, look, it's entertainer.
Yeah.
Which they should put us in a commercial or something.
Well, yeah, we have to. We have to have a commercial. A Gator commercial.
Yeah. I almost didn't want to tell that story because on Soul Man Radio we just don't get the views that we do get on Talking Giants. But I know whenever I do tell that story on Talking Giants, it'll be a hit. It's one of those things. Like I don't want to be the story guy, and then people are like, oh, that's like I don't know. It's
people that always expect the story.
Yeah. I don't want to be like I did something crazy, but eventually I'm gonna run out of them.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, I'll let you go.
All right, my man.
We'll go. I got to go attack a gator. Live up to my family name. Thank you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Snacks is going to be on tomorrow with Danny since we didn't have a Wednesday show due to the Phillip Rivers retirement. Appreciate you guys. Stay simple.